We are live on Yonkers Voice group and sharing this interview to all of our platforms, including Instagram. This is an interview that I'm very proud of. This is an interview that I'm very happy to be doing and sharing, and hopefully you will share these positive interviews on all of your platforms so we can create and make the change that we all want to see. And that change comes from people like Dennis that can motivate our youth that yes, you can achieve greatness, you can achieve success, but you have to invest in your future, on your education. That's how success comes. Then, in a few years that we're trying to make this happen.
Yes, it most definitely has. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. This is one of the most difficult interviews that I ever got. You know, I had to chase him. But there is a reason for that. And the reason is, I know that in a few years, I will not be able to reach the Dennis because he's going to be all the way up there and Rule's going to be an old man. But I need some bragging material. I need to have material that I can say, you see that guy up there? I interviewed him when he first came out of college.
That's right.
That was me.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that opportunity.
Bro, I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
And I am excited the success with you. Okay? I'm excited of the work you have done. Okay? I'm excited to say that you are an inspiration that many kids, not just from Yonkers, from everywhere, should follow. I still remember that speech you gave at the riverfront, one of the mayor's events, and you were there talking. I had goosebumps. You motivated me, you excited me. I loved it. Because being a motivational speaker is not just reading a book. You have to transmit the emotions. And I felt that emotion. Tell us a little bit about you. Tell the people of Yonkers who is Dennis Richmond Jr.
Sure. For those who don't know, my name is Dennis Richmond Jr. Today is my birthday. I'm 30 years old, which sounds crazy to me, but today's my birthday. I'm 30 years old, and I was born and raised here in the town. I'm a teacher, and I'm an author. Not only that, but I'm somebody who's a product of Yonkers and a proud product of Yonkers. Why? Because Yonkers continues to invest in me. So I have to continue to invest in the city.
Beautiful. So your birthday.
Yes.
Did you know that February is also my birthday?
I did not know that. Are you in a bird?
That's right.
Okay. It's the vibe.
Today is the 11th.
Yes.
I will be on the 13th.
Nice.
So we both Aquarius.
Let's go. It's awesome.
Tell us about this book that you wrote. Okay. Tell us how important this book is to you. What was the inspiration behind the book?
Sure.
What message you tried to transmit with the book? Tell us anything, and also how can you get the book?
Sure. So let's go back in time really quick, and I'll keep it brief. During COVID, so 5 years ago in March, which is insane to me, I had nothing to do. So, naturally, always writing like I've done, decided to write this. He spoke in my school. Since I wrote it, I decided to write about what was going on since I was born. So, 90% of Yonkers residents know me in one of three ways. Either I'm related to someone, I've spoken at their school, or I've taught at their school. So that's what I wrote about in my book. I have testimonials in the last chapter from students who've known me from speaking at their school. I spoke about my family history in the first chapter, and then in all the chapters in the middle, I spoke about my life, the trials and tribulations that I've had getting to where I am to become a teacher, and some of the fun experiences that I've had along the way. So, with that, I'm excited that it's a product, and it's even more wild to me that it's been 5 years since I did it.
There we are. How important it is, Dennis, to have a good education? To me, education is foundation.
Right.
That's what sets you to succeed in the future. Yes, there is other ways that you can access to those venues are the exception to the rule, not the rule. Education is the rule.
Right.
So those that are watching, not just the kids, the parents, because sometimes parents have an important part to play.
Absolutely.
Okay? Tell them how important. If you're a parent, if you're a kid, how can we transmit the importance of doing your homework? You're a teacher, you teach. You look for that homework.
Yes, I do.
Tell them how important it is.
Sure. What you do now equates to your future. And I know my students, both current as well as all of those that I've taught in the past, are going to know that this is a redundant conversation. But everything that you do now has an effect on your future. How? Homework isn't just busy work. It also teaches you time management. It's about how you can do things outside of school to make sure that you retain information. But remember, the question was about education. It wasn't about college. Oftentimes when people hear about education, they automatically think, oh, Mr. Richmond, Dennis, wants me to go to school. I have to go to college, a 2 years college or a 4-year college. And that's not the case. Education comes in many different forms. You can have an apprenticeship somewhere, you can go to a trade school, you can even go to an auto mechanic shop and then learn how to be a mechanic. So remember, an education doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go to a college. It means that you have to further what it is that you're learning now. So with that, everything that you're doing in school, whether it's elementary school, middle school, or high school, is going to have an effect on the future. Because people aren't always going to remember what exactly you say, but they will remember what exactly it is that you do. I might not remember the name of everyone that I went to high school with, but every time I see a face, it's always, oh, I remember this, or I remember that. What do you want to be remembered for?
Actions, not words. What do you want to be remembered for? Remember that. Then as we see a lot of lives being wasted. Okay? And when I put it to waste, I mean a young kid, 16, 17, 15, 14,
Right.
that gets stabbed, gets shot, and dies. It's a waste of life.
Absolutely.
Okay? It's a terrible thing. And we need to understand what is the root cause. I understand that the root cause can be many factors. It's a complex equation. I cannot say it's this, it's that, or it's that. But we need to understand the beginning of what the equation might be. Just like a house. A house might come down for many reasons. But I know for a fact if the foundation of that house is not strong, the probabilities that that house will come down is much greater than any other factor that might bring that house down.
Absolutely.
That's my view in life. What is your view in life when it comes to that?
I agree. Some of the root causes of what's going on, not just in Yonkers, but all across New York and all across the country, are twofold. Miseducation and the lack of jobs. When students don't know where to go for work, and when students don't have the education behind it, then we start to see the things happen that we see happen. If there were more jobs out there for students to work, even if it was 2, 3, 4 hours a week, and if there were more recreational activities, such as a community center, maybe a place for students to go to hang out, other than just the McDonald's, or other than just Ross County to walk around stores, when a lot of students like me, when I was 15, 16, not having any money in my pocket per se, then you start to see these things happen less. But another thing that happens too, that wasn't as big when I was in school, is social media. Because with social media, you also get peer pressure. You get peer pressure on Instagram to try to look good. You get peer pressure on TikTok to try to be popular. You get peer pressure on Snapchat to try to get the most views. And a lot of people are doing things for attention. And when they don't get that attention, then you start to see things happen like this. So it's not just what happens at home, it's also what we're doing in our schools as well, as guidance counselors, as educators, and as other students, to make sure that we're taking care of one another.
before we go any further, Dennis, do you know where we at?
Talk to me.
Dos Marias, the best Mexican restaurant in Yonkers.
And it's my first time here.
Oh, you gotta come back. In Yonkers, Westchester County, and probably the state. Not every Mexican restaurant is created equal. There is places where you go for the real taste of Mexican food. This is it.
Nice.
Where you can go and mix and mingle and make new friends. Personally, I always have room for one more friend. So I come here and meet new friends. I'm going to be here tomorrow between 6 and 8 to meet Miss Universe.
Really?
Right here.
Really?
Mexican Miss Universe. She's going to be here tomorrow. So don't forget to come down and get to meet her. And I'm going to interview her. So tomorrow is the day, but then again, any day is day to come to Dos Marias.
I love it.
200 New Main Street in Yonkers, New York. 2 floors, the top floor always ready for rentals, for small parties, political events, workshops. If you want to have a workshop,
Right.
Teaching kids how to read, teaching kids how to write, teaching kids the right way. You can have one right here, Dennis can, so can you. So guys, don't forget, support our local business. Many of us talk about supporting our local business, but we just say that in words. I'm more interested in actions. So, actions, not words.
I love it. Rue, you spoke about something important as well. You spoke about reading. It's important that people know that in 4th grade, because statistics matter, folks look at numbers. By 4th grade, most boys, not just in New York, but in America, especially Black and Hispanic boys, cannot read at grade level. Again, in 4th grade, most Black and Hispanic boys cannot read at grade level. That means that by the time they get to 5th and 6th grade, they're struggling in their classes with reading and writing. That means by the time they get to high school, they're failing exams because they do not know how to read and write on grade level. So they're seeing certain words, they're seeing certain paragraphs, they're seeing sentence structures that don't make sense to them because in 4th grade, by that time, they already don't understand. And that's what's important. And I know that there are some parents right now in Yonkers, I know that there are some parents right now in Mount Vernon, I know there are some parents right now in Peekskill and Ossining who I'm speaking to. And there's some students out there who understand me right now because they're in 6th or 7th grade, or they're in 8th or 9th grade, and they're struggling right now in ELA. They didn't get a good grade, they just failed the test, or they're struggling in math because they don't understand the concepts. And it's not that they don't want to, it's because when you go back to 2nd, 1st grade, they didn't understand a few concepts, and because they didn't pick up those small ones, what's a synonym, what's an antonym? They didn't pick up the small ones, what's a predicate? Now they're in 11th grade, and they don't know if they're going to graduate on time in 12th grade.
We come back to foundation, right?
Absolutely.
Foundation is everything. So don't just look at the glamorous thing that you see. Okay, musicians, nothing wrong with being a musician, nothing wrong with being a singer, nothing wrong with being a writer. But you need to look at other fundamentals of life.
Right.
Education, comprehension, reading, all the things that teaches education.
I agree.
Then is February, our month. It's an important month.
Yes.
Black History Month.
Yes.
There is someone that is talking about canceling Black History Month. Cannot be canceled. It's our history. It will be on forever. Liking it or not, canceling or not, we will celebrate.
Right.
I've seen your work. Your the books, your research, your family, how you call it?
Genealogy.
Genealogy.
Right.
I've seen it. Amazing.
Thank you.
It's just amazing. And I know things don't just, you didn't just wake up one day and say, let me do this now. It took some work.
Right.
Many of us out there, many kids out there want to do the same, but they don't know where to start.
Right.
Give us your
Sure. As mentioned in my book, He Spoke in My School, An Educational Journey. The first chapter is about my family history. So, if you're interested in finding out about where you come from, if you're interested in finding out about your ancestors, the first thing that I recommend is talking to your family. You'd be surprised at stories that you'll uncover just by asking questions. For an example, if you have access, ask your mom what she did when she was younger. Mom, what was school like for you? Mom, did you struggle in math like I'm struggling in math? Mom, what was recess like? If you have access to your grandparents, ask your grandmother. Grandma, how did you get to New York? Were you born here? What was it like when you came? Were you scared when you first got here? You were a teenager. Why did you come here? And then you'll start to uncover more. Because 9 times out of 10, you might find out that one of your relatives already had a relative who was here, who was the first one to make the move. Then start digging even more. Ask for pictures. You might not have pictures going back 100 or 200 years, but it's safe to say that you might have a relative who has a picture of themselves when they were young. People like to hold on to pictures of themselves. Don't be afraid to ask questions, because Alex Haley said that when a person dies, a library burns. People are filled with stories, and unless you ask them, they won't tell you. And most of us don't know what to say until we're asked the question, because people don't just come out and say things. So ask questions. You'll be surprised what you learn.
What surprised you the most about what you learned about your family? What made you say, wow?
Mm-hmm.
What was the wow thing?
Okay. What was my wow? Excellent question. We've never been asked that before. What was my wow when researching my family? Okay. One of my wows when researching my family came from my father's side of the family, and so many wows. I'm trying to look.
Give me a couple. Yeah.
Okay. One is finding out that, as crazy as it is, my father's ancestors during the Civil War, going back, say, the 1850s, 40s, 30s, 20s, were not slaves in America. So oftentimes we're told the narrative that black people were slaves, that they picked cotton, that they worked on farms. That wasn't the case for many of my ancestors. They were not slaves, they were free. So when the Civil War broke out, they were free. When you go back to the 1830s, they were free. In fact, even as far back as the late 1700s, I have ancestors in my family tree who were free. And documentation to prove it, because they were buying and selling land, which is wild to me. In fact, some of my ancestors were even loaning money, and there's still documentation in Westchester and Connecticut to prove that.
Did they collect all the money that they need? Because you might have some...
I don't know, we have to find it. We definitely have to find it. Second wow moment for me, January of this year makes a year since my father passed away. He was an American veteran. He served in the United States military. He was in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. He worked right at, what is it called? It was on Lake Avenue, and now they moved to the south side of Yonkers. Yeah. He delivered car parts at, not CarQuest, but it's wild to me that I can't think of the name because I've known it for so many years. But he worked delivering car parts. And that's how I got to learn so much in New York when I was young, because I go with him every summer and we go all over delivering car parts. I know that he served in the United States military. So when he passed, I requested his military file. I didn't know that he also went to Hawaii. And this is why I say ask questions. I've known my father my whole life. My parents were married in 1988. I was born in 1995. Never knew that my father was in Hawaii when he served. Never knew that he went into New Jersey prior to going into Fort Sill, Oklahoma. I never knew some of the conversations that he had until I saw his file. So that was another wow moment for me. Not to mention they had a picture of him when he first went in. And then to see my dad at 22 years old as a young man who was figuring out life, going into the United States service, crazy to me.
Amazing, yeah?
Crazy.
Ask the right questions. Ask questions, because you have no idea of what you might learn.
Absolutely.
Current politics.
Yes.
Dennis, we are in a, I don't know how to call it, but I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we should be looking to get united and not divided.
Right.
And I see division like I've never seen it before. We always talked about racism. We always talked about division. We always understood that not every American are going to think the same. We always thought that, listen, regardless of our differences, what makes America great is that we can have different opinions about politics, but we are going to respect those opinions. Lately, those things have been voided, been cancelled. If you think this way, there is a group that will criticize you tomorrow.
Right.
And if you think that way, the other group is going to criticize you, to the whatever. I think that is wrong.
Right.
Having differences of opinion is healthy. It's okay. That's what made or said the difference between America and other countries. That we could speak.
Right.
We could vote for whoever we wanted. You're still an American. And now there is no. If you don't think the same as that group or that group, you're not patriotic. Yes, you are. So how do you see the current political atmosphere of the United States? I'm not focusing on the president or the Democrats or whatever. I'm talking about in general.
Sure. I see it two ways. And I feel like I'm in a weird space right now because I'm 30. So I feel like I'm still somewhat young, even though all the young people call me uncle now. But I feel like I'm still somewhat young enough where I understand the youth, but I'm old enough where I can have a conversation with someone in their 70s and 80s. So I look at it like this. You have a lot of people who are my age and younger who don't vote, right? So that's a huge conversation in itself. People who will tell me, I don't want to vote, I'm not really into that, the country going to do what it's going to do, I don't really do that thing. So there's that group of people who don't vote. Then you have, and Dave Chappelle said it so eloquently, Twitter is not a real place. I know today it's called X. Everyone on social media, right? So you have people who feel as if they need to voice their opinion online. And then when they do, they're now attacked online. And they're having huge debates with people online who they've never met in real life, will never meet in real life, and they're getting stressed out for no reason. I don't think that it's wrong to have an opinion, but just because you have an opinion about something doesn't necessarily mean that you have to engage with folks on the internet every day, all day, about what you think. I can say right now, I love sweet potato pie and apple pie. And then I can have 10 people right now argue with me and say, well, I'm allergic to apples, how dare you, oh my gosh, I brought you to. And now I'm living Republican and another one. Same way I saw somebody on Twitter recently say, I'm sure people have to laugh because it's true. I saw someone recently say something along the lines of, I just ate turkey or something like that. And somebody's like, well, why can't we say turkeys? I don't believe that we should be eating turkeys. That's not fair. No matter what you say, someone's going to debate you. So to your point, I believe that we all should be together, but I also believe that people have a right to say how they feel, and people have a right to vote the way that they like to vote. We saw just in this election, even though people have preconceived notions about who people should vote for, that wasn't the case. People from this background voted for this person, people from that background voted for that person, and it shocked America in a lot of different ways. And here we are.
I'm going to take this opportunity because you said something that I need to address.
Sure.
That is opinions. Yonkers voice. So I wanted to make clear that folks understand that Yonkers voice is not a platform exclusively about Yonkers. It just happens that I'm a guy from Yonkers who created a page and I called it Yonkers Voice, which means people of Yonkers can come in and debate the opinions about anything that happens anywhere.
I'm glad you said that. I think a lot of people feel that every post has to be about Yonkers.
It's
if
not.
It's not, they get upset.
Yeah, it's not. Because I know that in Yonkers there is a lot of brilliant minds, as you and many others,
You as well.
that have opinions about things that happen on the big picture, not just about Yonkers, not just about the United States, about issues that happen even in other places.
Right.
So Yonkers Voice is a platform dedicated to people from Yonkers. We welcome other people, but initially it was for people of Yonkers to come and talk about issues that address all of us.
Right.
So that's the point of Yonkers Voice. It's not a page exclusively to deal with Yonkers. Yes, we will put a lot of stuff that happens in Yonkers, but it's a platform for conversation. It's a forum where we, as individuals, can come and challenge our ideas and opinions.
I agree.
Just like Life magazine, it's not about life. Washington Post, it's not about Washington.
That's right.
Those are just brand names, just like Yonkers Voice.
Right.
So get out of the way. What are your plans?
Sure.
Let's say we're going to fast forward the tape of life, and we're sitting here, February 2030,
Right.
and I'm say, Dennis, great achievements. What have you done? What are your goals, Dennis? What are you looking for? What are your dreams? We all have a dream.
Right.
Some of us will fulfill that dream, and I think you will be one of those.
Thank you.
Okay, what are those dreams?
Sure. My two biggest aspirations right now, between 30 and 35, between 2025 and 2030, are really simple. One, to work on book number 2, because although this one is great, and a lot of people have supported it, a lot of people have purchased it, and if you look in the back too, you'll see that there's a lot of students from Yonkers who have even written testimonials about my speaking. I have to work on book number 2. Also, it's about time that I get my PhD. I have the bachelor's and I have the master's, but I have to get it. We live in a time now where, for me, it's something that I think it would be awesome to have. So, although a lot of people are like, well, you know, you could just keep teaching, which is true. I think that there are enough people who believe in me and who would want to see me get it. So it wouldn't just be for me, it would be for my community and for my family to see that I'm achieving that next step. Because I have too many people who are investing in me, so I can't let them down and not do that.
Well, you would let me down if you do that. Because I count on you. And remember, I'm investing in you, Dennis. You are my bragging material for 20 years from now.
Thank you.
Okay, I need to be able to say, you see, Dennis, PhD, at the end, I interviewed him when he came out of college.
That's right.
So you cannot let me down. You cannot let the people of Yonkers down. You have to achieve. So let me put it to you this way. It's no longer an option, it's an obligation.
Right.
You have to achieve. We count on you. Again, Dennis, where can we get this book?
Sure. You can go right on Amazon. You can type in Dennis Richmond Jr. or you can type in He Spoke at My School. Or if you don't want to purchase it, quiet as it's kept, you can go right to your local library, Yonkers, Mount Vernon, and then you can just tell them the name of the book and you can borrow it from there too.
And guys, do not ask Dennis for this copy, because this copy is my copy.
Yes.
Okay? With the special dedication. This is my copy.
Yes.
You can get one. Maybe Dennis can sign it. Okay? And I'm sure that he will, because Dennis is easy reachable. You can reach Dennis. Where, Dennis? What is your Instagram?
New York Stacks. NEWYORKSTAKZ. Or you can just Google me and then find me that way.
But go to his Instagram page, follow him there. That's support with actions, not words. Okay, many of us watch his interview. We say great work, Dennis, congratulations. But we have to go one more step. Support with actions. Click on that following, subscribe. I don't know if you have a YouTube channel, do you?
Yes.
Go to same name.
Yes.
Go to YouTube channel, subscribe to it. Do it now. You're watching this interview, just open another window, go there, Subscribe, show him some love, show him that you support with actions, not words. And guys, please, okay, we, Yonkers Voice, we put a lot of stuff out. We cover a lot of things that happen on the shoots of Yonkers. And sometimes those things that we report on are negative things. But then, that's life. You know, it happens on the street. If you're driving by and something happens, you have no option but looking at what's happening. You can walk away, but that is life.
Right.
Yonkers is a huge city. But when I post one of those videos, in a matter of hours, I have 10,000 views, 20,000 views. Some videos have millions of views. We have reached over 55 million households. But really, the interviews that I wish you would share, the interviews that I wish you would put it on your page and your friends' pages and groups, is interviews like this that can actually have a positive impact in the society that we live in. Call your son and say, look son, you see Dennis, educator, this is how I would love to see you one day. Use the positive content to change the current mindset of many young folks out there. Share this interview. Invite people to see it. Call your son, your daughter to see it. Send it to the school and say how proud you are of them having teachers like Dennis. Do your thing. Remember, I don't share the videos that I post. You do. I only post it once. You guys are the ones that make those videos go viral. Well, make this video go viral.
Thank you.
Do you agree?
I agree.
Because, you know, Dennis, sometimes I talk to people, I say, oh, you put too much negativity. I said, I don't. You do. Because when I post it once. You guys are the one that's sharing all that negativity.
Right.
Okay? I just post so you guys know what's going on in the city where we all live in. For the same way that you share all those videos, why don't you share videos like this? So we need to be contagious of love, contagious of things that can change your life for the better.
That's right.
If you haven't done that yet, I hope you're getting contagious right now and start sharing this video and follow Dennis and tell him, send him a message saying how proud you are of him. I am extremely proud.
Thank you.
You know, I am extremely proud. And like I said earlier, he's my bragging material. How long have you been a teacher, Dennis?
This is my 4th year teaching. I did most of my teaching in Yonkers. I did a little bit in the Bronx, and now I'm in Mount Vernon. But students know me from all over New York because prior to doing that, as you know, I was helping students get in college, and I was everywhere from Brooklyn all the way to Harlem. And I'm excited to be here.
Now, life is a balance.
It is.
Okay? Personally, I have done things that I said I wish I hadn't.
Of course.
Are you happy with every decision you made? Would you change anything? I'm talking about things of importance, not mistakes when you were 14, 15. That's nothing. We all do those things. But career decisions. Are you happy with the choice you made? If you could go back, would you have been a teacher, maybe an engineer, maybe a programmer? Or you were happy with what decision you made?
I love these questions, Drew. I'm happy with every decision that I made in life, only because it put me in the position that I'm in today. And I'll share this, and a lot of people don't know this part, but I am a teacher, and I love the fact that I'm a teacher. But in order to be a teacher, you have to pass certain exams. So again, I'll share it because a lot of people don't know. Yes, it's true, I am a teacher, but in order to be a teacher, you have to pass exams. I didn't pass those exams on the first try, or the second try, or even the third try. It took me multiple times to pass those tests to get to be a teacher. Black men make up 1.3% of teachers in America. Not 5%, not 10%, but 1.3% of teachers in America. I'm a part of that 1.3%. I wouldn't go back in time and change anything, because even though I failed those exams as much times as I've done, I've still worked hard to pass them. I worked at a community center in White Plains for a loft while I was still making sure that I was working on passing those exams. I never gave up. So even though there might have been something that I've done where I thought, man, why would I do that? Because of that, I'm in this position. And to anyone out there who has something on their heart, to anyone out there, whether you're young or old, and you feel like you've made a decision that you can't bounce back from, just know you can always bounce back. Because the only person who's going to hold you from bouncing back from that decision is you.
You know, Dennis, I think you brought up a very good point, which is focus, determination, and discourage. What I mean by discourage is a lot of people, they get discouraged when they fail the first time.
That's right.
And double discouraged if they fail a second time. And the third time, they're ready to give up.
That's right.
And success sometimes is achieved based on focus and determination. Yes, I failed. I'm getting up and I'm going to keep on going. So what are we going to tell those kids? Is if you fail, don't think you are a failure.
That's right. You don't let failing hold you back, because failing only means that you tried and that you're still going to keep going. When I wanted to become a teacher, they said the score I needed on one of my exams was a 500, a 500. I took that test and I was confident that I would be good, and I got a 499. I failed it by 1 point. Like many students, like many people of New York who used to take the Regents exams, you know that feeling when you miss it by 1 point. You know that feeling when you feel like the teacher could have gave you that 1 point because you got a 64 and you could have got a 65. But instead of crying about it, and instead of complaining about it, I went back and I took the exam again and I did what I had to do. Because there's too many little Dennises out there who are failing in their classes. There are too many little Dennises out there who are 16 and 17 who are murdering each other. And there are too many little Dennises out there who need somebody like me to be in the classroom, to be in the hallway, and to be standing outside of their school to let them know that I care about them. And that's the reason why I went back. What's your reason why you're going to bounce back from your decision?
Now, do you guys understand now why I say that Danny, it's a good motivational speaker? Did you feel it? Because there is two different things. It's me talking, and it's me transmitting the feeling that you hear and you can feel deep inside of you the word that is saying. Now, there is somebody out here watching, asking, who am I interviewing? Well, it's on the description, but I will tell you. It's an educator, an author, a bright young man that I interviewed when he was first came out of college. His name is Dennis Richmond Jr. You can get his book, you can order this book, but that's who Danny is. But on top of all, the most important thing about Dennis, the writer, the educator, is what I'm going to tell you. It's a man capable of changing lives. Capable of making people who are listening get connected with the words that he's saying. A man that is capable of driving me to achieve my goals based on his words. And that's a hell of it.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Okay, that's a hell of it. Tell your child, your daughter to listen. This interview might change their lives. Because let me tell you, sometimes we have a tendency not to listen to our parents.
Of course.
But we listen to somebody like you.
Yes.
Happens very, very, I listen to my dad.
Right.
But if my dad's friend talked to me, I would listen to him. But my dad was one who really loved me. Okay? So, it doesn't matter who talks to you, who talks to your child. If your child's life can change because of a man's word, let him listen. Dennis, I think Prince has a question for you. What is it, Prince? He had to do it. He had to do it.
So, the Super Bowl, man, the halftime performance. We have to know. People are asking, what did you think of that halftime performance, man?
Yes. So, Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime performance was absolutely amazing. There were so many Easter eggs involved that as much as I tell people don't get involved in negative discourse online, I got involved in negative discourse online because I had to defend what was going on. It was absolutely astounding. And I appreciate Dan Murphy for allowing me to continue to write for Yonkers Times because I wrote an article about the Super Bowl halftime show and the Easter eggs that were there. So stay tuned because that's going to be out very soon. So that was exciting. There was too much to talk about. We could have a whole interview about it. But as you've been so eloquently said, we don't want division in this country. And the way that we avoid division is by making sure that everyone is able to voice everything that it is that they want to say. And we can open up the door with that by letting people express themselves. And Kendrick Lamar expressed himself. The 22-time Grammy Award Pulitzer Prize winning artist expressed himself.
And guys, don't take politics too much to heart. Okay? Guess what? At the end of the day, those guys that we fight for, they meet each other, go play golf with each other, have fun with each other, and we create friction.
Absolutely.
Become enemies. So yes, express your point of view, but respect each other and don't take things too hard. That's what makes America great again. That we can still disagree, we can still fight like dogs and cats, but we respect each other, and we all have something in common. We all love the country that we call home. On that note, we conclude our interview, but I will let Dennis Richmond Jr. do the closing.
Thank you, Ru, for this amazing interview. This is Yonkers Voice. Make sure that you like, make sure that you follow, and make sure that you subscribe because you'll only get the news that you need right here in Yonkers Voice. And remember, share the positive. Thank you.
Right. Thank you all for watching. Until next time.